You're not gonna be my friend no more.
No, I won't be your friend no more.
Amy has a terrible secret that she does not want me to tell. So I'm going to be a good friend for today. The second.
You'll see why. You'll see why.
Yeah, you should watch you should watch it on YouTube and see why. And yeah.
My mouth hurts from smiling. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready? So you have an insane amount of money. Okay, you have so much money that you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do with all this money. You're like Elon Musk. I don't know what I'm going to do with all this money. Okay. So you're like, you know what would be fun is if we rented a spaceship and went up to Mars. Okay.
All right.
This is very much like Elon Musk, but you don't
Going to
know
Mars.
you don't know how to fly a spaceship or anything like that. But
No.
you're allowed to bring 5 people with you. So 6 people total. Who are you bringing with you?
All right. Well, I don't want to bring my kids because, you know, it could be dangerous. And them all cooped up inside of a spaceship sounds terrible. So, all right. Obviously, Josh. Got to bring my husband. Okay. I feel like he would be really smart in situations like that. Obviously, you.
Yeah. Yes,
I need someone to make me laugh. So I wouldn't bring. Sorry, Ashley, but I wouldn't bring you because you're gonna watch my kids. So
yeah, she has.
If I'm going all the way up to space, you're basically their godmother. So you have to watch my children. And in case anything happens to me, there you go.
There you go.
Oh man, that 6 people. That's so many. Maybe no.
You already have 3 people. You only need 3 more.
3 more. Okay. All right. So I got you and Josh. That's 2 people.
6
or you
people
say there's
total.
6. Okay. Me, you, and Josh.
Yeah.
Damn it. Why do you have to ask me these complicated questions? This is so hard. Maybe my brother.
That'd be fun.
My brother is a lot of fun, and also he's pretty level-headed. 5 would be maybe my mom. I don't have a lot of friends, so you're basically my only friend. I don't have any friends. I'm really also trying to think like, okay, like who has kids, who doesn't have kids, who can leave their kids, and maybe I wouldn't want to bring my dad because my mom, and maybe my grandma, which is my dad's mom. So
that's that would be fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay, who's driving the spaceship, Brie?
Josh.
Oh
wait, he doesn't know how to drive a spaceship. Well, could I bring someone that I don't know, or does it have to be people that I know?
No, I just said you decided to rent a spaceship.
Just rent one. Okay, well,
because
okay,
you want to go up to Mars.
Sorry, Grandma. I'm gonna bring a pilot as well.
A pilot. That's smart. There you go.
Yeah. I want to live. I want to come back to Earth. Who would you bring?
A pilot? I would actually bring 2 types of pilots. Like one.
Yeah, that's probably smart. We're just having a good time in mine. My mom probably brought some gummies.
And then you don't even remember what happened. You don't even remember your trip.
I don't even know where we are or how we got here.
You're like, we went on a trip, but I don't know what trip.
Is this San Diego? Oh my God. Why is everything floating? Pass the Funyuns.
You said these were gummies. You didn't say they were psychedelic mushrooms.
Float a Funyun over here. Who would you bring? 2
So
pilots.
2 pilots, Rick, you, and then honestly, I think I'd bring Alice.
That'd be pretty cool. Alice is also older.
She's definitely, if she was younger, I wouldn't bring her, but because she's older and, like, selfishly, I'd be like, "Okay, like, if we all go down, we're going down together."
Yeah, right? If I die, you die too.
Yeah! No more having fun after me.
Nobody gets to be happy anymore or just live.
Exactly.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay,
Uh,
do you have a neighborhood story for me?
yes. This says, "Hello, neighbors. This morning, our
Hello.
pet pig will be having her hoofs trimmed. It's not
Oh,
her favorite, and
oh
as
boy.
such, she will be making some pretty wild sounds. Just wanted to warn everyone in case they hear what they think is an animal being harmed around 10:30, 11 a.m. this morning. It's just Pancetta making her point of annoyance. Picture for attention."
That
And
was
then
very
there's a
nice for
picture of
them
the
to
pig.
warn everybody. Be
Yeah.
self-aware.
There's not a slaughterhouse going on. I swear to God, my pig is fine.
She's just dramatic.
She's just a drama queen.
Also, I didn't know you had to trim hooves. I mean, it makes sense.
I didn't either. Yeah, that does make sense. I didn't know that your name on your this episode was Penis Eater. So this is a
Free!
home. This is a hometown horror.
You suck. Were
You
you
know I can
hoping that
take that out.
did were you hoping that
I
you
will
were
if you
going to be
want me to.
delayed?
No, I was just hoping to skirt on by. I promise you, I could take it out.
I don't care. Because that's actually relating to my first story. So,
Oh, this is a hometown horror, guys.
hometown Oz.
Horrors.
So, Amrid Meowies. It's spelled Meiwes.
You say it however you
Meowies.
want. That sounds really complicated. Perfect.
Armin Meowies is a German man known as the Rottenburg Cannibal or the Polite Cannibal,
Oh,
after he killed and ate a man he met online. Meow. Armin had been searching for a willing victim for years and eventually found burned Jorgen Brands. Burned Jurgen Brands. A man. This man was willing to be killed and eaten. So the two
what?
the this is real life. The two men met at Armin's home where Bernard agreed to have his penis cut off and eaten by
Ew.
Armin.
Oh,
After this, Brands was killed and eaten by Armin over several months. Armin was eventually caught and sentenced to life in prison. So Armin had a troubled childhood with a father abandoning him when he was 8 years old, leaving him to be raised by his mother. During sessions with the police experts, Armin explained that his desire for cannibalism related to the fairy tale Hansel and Gretel he had developed during his adolescence years. This desire to be a cannibal.
okay.
The unpredicted case had proved problematic for German lawyers who discovered that cannibalism is not illegal in Germany.
What?
Armin Armin supposedly regrets his actions and even stated that he wanted to write a biography with his victim's family. He had been allowed out of prison for several brief like excursions. He would wear sunglasses and a cap to protect his identity. when he was allowed out of
What?
prison for like little trips to the store.
What? I
I
bet
know.
I bet they changed their laws.
I'm sure they did.
Oh, by the way, because of this guy, you can no longer eat people.
I know you guys were allowed to before, but we realized that that was never on the books.
That's
So
that's not right.
sorry. Sorry.
It's not it's not what we put in our sausages.
I mean, the guy was willing to be killed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but still it's wrong. You can't kill people.
You can't, but you know what he should have done? Killed himself and then let Armin eat him.
Yes.
But I guess that
That
would
would
still be
then you would
the
be like a
cannibalism,
second, yeah, and then you would be like a
an
person who knew
accessory.
about it. Yeah, that. Cuz
Hmm.
isn't suicide illegal? Is
Okay,
it?
so I don't know because I asked
I know it's a
the
sin.
DA. I asked the DA up in Alaska if it was, and he was like, "Why would that be illegal? There's nobody to charge then." I was like, "That makes sense, but I'm pretty sure it's illegal."
Yeah, I feel
I
like it
don't know.
is. I don't know. Let us know, guys. Let us know if you
Yeah.
know.
Too bad we don't have like Google
Also,
to
just
look it up.
don't do that, please. Yeah, right. Um all right. So my first story, first and foremost, all my stories came from I'm going to go ahead and sort my or cite my source. It is from a yourghoststories.com. I just discovered this website and it's like for public to submit their personal like ghost encounters and like when we don't have people submit their hometown horror stories to us,
Freaking
great
rude.
it's a great reference. So, helps. So
Yeah,
this
I'm
first one
excited.
is from Moon X Child 1985, and this was just in April. It says, my husband and I and our cat live in a hotel. As I mentioned in my other stories, the hotel used to be an asylum for the criminally insane, and the basement was a morgue way back in the day. Out of all the rooms we lived in, there was one room in particular that had the most paranormal activity, and it was a negative experience. When we first moved in that room, right away, the energy felt off. The atmosphere just felt heavy and depressing. One night,
I
my
don't like
cat
that.
Celine was following something invisible around the room. She kept trying to climb the wall and kept looking up at the ceiling with her eyes moving frantically in every direction. I could feel how uncomfortable she was by all the energy she was giving off. I tried to pet her to calm her down, but she pinned her ears back at me and gave me an angry look. Now, Celine is one of the most sweetest cats in the world and extremely friendly with people, so by her suddenly acting like this was definitely out of the ordinary. So I backed off and laid down in bed while watching TV, and then Celine jumped up on her cat tree, which was about a foot away from where I was laying. And when I looked over at her, she still had her ears pinned and she was literally giving me the death stare, looking so angry. She wouldn't stop
Oh.
staring at me. I started getting scared. Every move I made while in bed, she looked like she was ready to pounce. I never felt scared of my cat ever until today or until that day. I was so afraid to move, so I just laid in bed, not moving and hysterically crying. The energies in the room were strong and angry. Finally, Celine calmed down and returned to her old self. I hesitated to pet her at first, but energy reassured me that she was okay. I cried with relief when I scooped her up in my arms and held her close. Days later, my husband and I were moving to a different room. As my husband was grabbing the last bit of storage from our old room, he suddenly sensed negative, eerie energy around him and it freaked him out. My cat and I were already in the new room at the time. My husband was in the old room feeling these negative energy. My husband isn't really a firm believer in spirits. He tries to find more logical explanations for things, but this time he admitted to me that he felt those strange energies. Something was definitely in that room.
Bro. That poor kitty.
I
He's like, I don't know
know.
what's going on.
I know. It's a
I
possessed
don't like that.
kitty.
I hate when my cats all of a sudden like start freaking out and like
Yeah.
doing like zoomies, but
The
they're not
zoomies,
like
yeah.
but they're not having fun. It's like it's something that they have to do, and you're just like, what's going on?
They're getting out all that, like, the energy.
Yeah, all that energy. It's freaky. Oh, that's scary. Also, get out of that place, dude. You need to
Yeah.
get out.
Yeah. Why are you living in a hotel? Actually, I think a lot of people live in hotels.
Times are hard, dude.
Yeah, right?
So, this is Terry Jo Duperalt was found floating on a small raft in the ocean when she was 11 years old. A few days before she was discovered, another man, Julian Harvey, was rescued from a sinking yacht.
What?
He was supposedly the sole survivor of this yacht. But when it was discovered that Terry was another survivor from the same yacht, Julian was notified, like, hey, there was another survivor. He went and killed himself. Turns out Julian was hired by Terry's family to be the captain of the yacht for an around the world globe once in a lifetime trip, and that family had saved up for. Well, Julian, however, proceeded to murder everyone on the boat, and he left Terry, the 11-year-old, on the sinking boat to drown before he escaped the yacht.
You dirty person.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Nuts,
Jeez.
dude.
Also, I love the background noise. It's not bad. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
The
I
birds.
love it. Yes. It is very. Oh, guys, by the
I've
way,
been
Amy's outside. Cuz
I've
this is
been
a new episode.
watching this one bird, and he keeps doing the same thing. He's the one that's like he's trying really hard to get this other girl bird. And you can tell that it's the boy because he is more colorful.
Yeah.
And she just keeps going from branch to branch, like, get away from me, dude.
Leave me
And he's
alone.
like following her. It's really cute.
Aw.
He's like, now listen to my beautiful singing voice.
I have a mating call.
And she's
It's so
like, ugh.
beautiful.
It's been really cute to watch.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to be outside for my podcast. I should
Just
be
be
outside. I
outside.
should do it. No, my neighbors are too loud.
Oh,
Okay. My next one is from Different 444, and this was in March of 2024. It
okay.
says, my first paranormal experience happened when I was around 7 years old. I was in my
Oh
mom's
boy.
bedroom, snooping through her things. I looked up in the mirror of her vanity, and standing in the corner facing and watching me was a young girl. She wore a white dress that was torn. The thing that truly frightened me that I had never been able to shake off was that its eyes, or lack of, I should say, this
Uh,
entity had giant gaping black holes for eyes. It was like looking into two black holes. It's a vivid detail I would never forget. There were absolutely no eye whites, and the black holes were perfectly circular. Next,
no.
I was around 9 years old when my family went to Sarajevo, Bosnia, which is their home country, for 2 months during
Hmm.
summer break. Our first night there, our neighbors gathered around the house outside to welcome us. I was standing with my older sister and some neighborhood teenagers. I overheard them talking about how our house is haunted. I wandered off away from the crowd to the front of the house. I looked into the window that directly gazed into the living room and the kitchen. Standing in our kitchen was a little ghost boy with short black hair that was opening and closing our kitchen drawers. I watched, amazed as it picked up a spoon and inspected it closely. It turned the spoon around in the air, twisting and examining it. As if it could sense that I was watching, it snapped its head towards the window and stared at me. It didn't move like the ghost girl. It also had gaping black holes for eyes, and we just stared back at each other for a solid few seconds, with my eyes tracking back to the spoon that it was still holding, and I ran off. I remember
I
being so
don't like
scared. Yeah, I remember being so scared to sleep at night after that. in that house. I told everybody about it, and my grandma taught me a Muslim prayer that I still use today whenever I feel that there is something around me. Lastly, I saw the third entity when I was around 12 years old. My family and I drove down to Jacksonville, Florida to visit my aunt. I went to the bathroom, washed my hands, and when I looked in the mirror, I saw a little ghost boy in the corner of the bathroom. It was daytime when I saw it. It didn't seem to have emotion and was expressionless. Besides just emptiness and despair, its eyes, like the other encounters, had giant gaping black holes. It didn't seem like the other ghost boy I had seen in Bosnia. He seemed younger and shorter. I've lived in the same house my entire life, and I've had one additional experience with the ghost boy and countless others with the ghost girl. I dream about her when I was a teenager. In the dream, I was a child again, and we were playing, having a good time. She told me I'm not as bad as I seem. That's all I remember. In the recent years,
Okay.
the ghost girl woke me up with an electrifying shock on my wrist. I felt something slide off my bed, and I swear I saw her outline laughing at me. I'm sharing this because
Oh
I'm
my
wondering if
gosh.
anyone can identify what these are and what they want to do with me. Also, what is the significance of the black eyes? Why has it not been documented before in the media? I've tried to research, but it seems like nothing that comes up is close to what I've experienced. They're not black eyed children. I won't share anymore because this post is getting long. Let me know what you're thinking.
I don't like any of it.
Mm-mm.
They cannot do that. That would be great.
Yeah, you can just stop now. Sounds demonic.
Yeah, it really does. Get out of there. I don't like it. Okay, so here's my third one. In September of 1982, a 12-year-old girl in Chicago passed away shortly after ingesting an extra strength Tylenol. That same day, a man died in a hospital after taking the same pill. Probably not the same pill. It was probably an identical pill.
Right.
They're not sharing pills.
No, no, no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
She didn't gag it up and he took it.
exactly. Yeah. Two of his family members followed right after. Over the course of the next few weeks, more seemingly healthy people in Chicago were dropping dead, and the only thing that they had in common was that they were taking extra strength Tylenol shortly before their ultimate death. As bottles were recalled by Johnson and Johnson, it was discovered that many of the extra strength Tylenol pills had been laced with potassium cyanide. One of this was made Once this was made public, Johnson and Johnson issued numerous ads and warnings to customers to avoid the product. The company began working tirelessly on a triple sealed package that would prevent tampering. James Williams Lewis of New York City contacted Johnson and Johnson claiming that he was responsible for tampering with the bottles and filling the capsules with cyanide. He demanded $1 million in exchange for him to stop. He was arrested for the crime, and although he was not found guilty, but he was still in prison for extortion. Even after Johnson and Johnson forfeited their Tylenol bottles against tampering, the widespread news of what happened in Chicago prompted crimes of the similar nature all around the country. Several more people died from cyanide poisoning, found in other over-the-counter medicines. The Chicago Tylenol
What?
murders is one of the few crimes to spark real change in the country. The quality control of pharmaceuticals increased tenfold, and as did the security of their packaging. Although the FBI didn't have enough evidence to convict anyone of the crime, it is widely believed that James William Lewis and his wife were indeed responsible. So, My Favorite Murder did a whole episode on this one. I think it was actually 2 episodes, but, because it was a really big deal. But, like, the foil when, you buy medicine, there's, like, that foil that you have
Yeah.
to pop open.
Yeah.
That that's one of the reasons why they have that is because of these murders.
Because it shows that they're, like, not been tampered with?
Correct. Yeah.
Dang.
I
When did
know.
that happen?
1980, 1982.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah,
And also terrifying that that can
I know.
be a possibility. Like, you never
I
think about, like,
know.
who's making your food and who's, like, packaging your stuff.
You literally could die any minute.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Don't like it. I hate it here.
All right. My next one is from that was a good one. My next one is from a Can't Unsee It 74, and this was in April of
Okay.
2024. While investigating and contacting many on my Stick Indian encounter and talking to UFO Washington, I shared my only UFO sighting with him. He assured me the military will not bother people anymore for reporting them, so after 5 years now, I will share my only UFO sighting. I told the man who bought my home what I had seen and to look up in early hours. He is the only one I told.
Okay.
Okay, so that's just a little insight. All right, 5 years ago or so, I was awakened by very loud, constant banging. I quickly get downstairs to go find the problem. At the bottom of the stairs, 10 feet away, is the front door, and I feel noise is coming from the front of the house. It is very early, and I'm only in my briefs, so I do not turn on the porch light.
I feel like
I
that
just
was a mistake number one. Like, who cares
uh,
if you're in your boxers? Just go, or your underwear. Turn on the light.
All right, so there is a 6 feet wide deck above me at 10 feet high. It is very windy, and the banging is coming from my left as a new home is being built over the hillside, and somebody installed a door with no doorknob, and it is bang, bang, banging in the wind. The city lights are below my home, and the airplane lane is out in front of our road. It is kind of pasture land down in front of us and down maybe 30 feet from my feet on the porch valley floor. As I
Okay.
scan left to right over this part of Boise, I am looking straight ahead now over my neighbor's new home, and above and to the right of his roof is a huge craft of some kind sitting in the sky in the airplane lane. I'm assuming that means in the sky. I don't know what airplane lane means. This craft is glowing in orange light. My mind showed me two school buses end to end and as tall as a school bus. So this orange glowing window is 10 to 12 feet tall and 60 to 80 feet long, and it is sitting in the sky at 2 o'clock or 8 o'clock, 2 o'clock and an 8 o'clock angle. There was
Oh
no
my
way
god.
to even walk in this craft at that angle. The 2 o'clock is pointed right at the Boise Airport Tower, like it is showing bottom of craft towards the airport, and the bottom 8 o'clock is at my end. This bad
Wow.
boy is blocking stars behind it, and I cannot tell the shape of the craft, just the amazing bright orange strip that is glowing. I run to the dining room window 30 feet away to get my binoculars and return only to find it is gone. Why do you need your binoculars if it is that big? I believe I studied it for about 12 seconds before running for my binoculars. I think I caught it as it was preparing to take off, hence the strange angle in the sky. If your hand is
Okay.
pointing straight down was 6 o'clock, and point your hand straight over your head, and that is 12 o'clock. This craft's low end is at 8 o'clock angle. If you guys are watching, you'd see us trying to do these motions, trying to figure out what the heck this person's talking about. Clearly, they're a pilot. It would be at 10:30 in the sky, and high point 2 o'clock pointed at airport would be 10:45 in the night sky, and that is very low. All right, we're just going to assume that this thing was pretty low. I guesstimate it was less than 400 feet from the ground and less than a quarter mile away. Why couldn't you have just said that? Huh? Why do we have to reference time? It's just not time. We need to just say how far away. And how, yes, thank you. Guessing only in the darkness, but still huge in the sky. The orange light could only be seen by maybe 4 homes positioned just above neighbors, and only golf course passed above our street. Very strategically planned hiding spot, clearly. No jets sent after this craft, Air Force below and next to the airport, and we were close enough to hear Rayville morning and night. Did I witness a
Oh.
Space Force craft? Were little green men probing my neighbors? Better them than me. So many questions, and I don't want to see it again. I wanted to
I don't
add that
blame
I am
him.
100% sure my visitation was not Stick Indians related, and I will update that story when I learn more. Pretty crazy. I
I
think he
so
may have seen something.
That's pretty nuts, but you know what's even crazier? The fact that this guy is carrying binoculars and is keeping binoculars in his kitchen at all times. I'm confused. Unless he's like an avid bird watcher or something, there's
He
no
might
reason to
be,
have.
he might be a bird watcher. He might be a bird
Otherwise,
watcher.
you just seem like a creeper creeping on your neighbors.
That
Bro,
was the
that was a good
times
one.
through. I think he had to have been like a pilot or something to reference all the time directions.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's
No.
400 feet away from us, please, and just look up.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Goodbye. See you later.
It took me years to figure that out.
I know it took me years to read it. And
Yeah,
I've
that
already
too.
read it. That's my third
Yeah.
time reading it. And I still did the hand
Okay.
gestures earlier.
Okay. So, my last one, it is an adolescent, Ira Einhorn gave himself the nickname of the unicorn, the English translation of his German surname. The killer was an environmental activist and part of the anti-war movement when he murdered his ex-girlfriend, Holly Maddox. Holly disappeared in early of September 1977 after stopping by Ira's Philadelphia apartment to collect her things following their breakup. Several weeks after Holly's death, police questioned her ex-boyfriend about her whereabouts, to which he stated she had disappeared on her way to the neighborhood co-op. 18 months later, after neighbors began reporting a rancid smell, police
Oh
found
God.
Holly's body stuffed in a trunk in Ira's closet. Several days
No.
before Ira was supposed to stand trial, he fled to Europe. As Ira had already been arraigned, the court was able to try, convict, and sentence him in Abista. Despite this fact, Ira managed to remain in France for 23 years,
What?
even getting married while craftily evading extradition. The US government finally was able to bring him back to the States and reconvict him in 2022. Ira is
What?
now serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole.
That's so recent. Oh my gosh.
Could you imagine being married to someone and
Yeah.
finding out that, like,
Oh, by
23
the way, your
years
husband
earlier
killed
he
someone.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
and he was just, like, a normal dude that probably worked at, like, the supermarket, or maybe he was, like, a teacher, and you're like, "He's such a great guy. I love him so much. We know everything about each other." No, you don't. No, you
Nope.
don't.
You do not. Mm-mm.
Samantha, he killed his ex-girlfriend 23
Samantha.
years before. Samantha.
Yeah. He's been he's been keeping that bottled up there, Samantha.
Samantha. What's your last
uh,
one?
all right, this one is from a Valkyrie, and it is in April 2024. It says a bit of
Whoa. All of these are
background.
very recent.
I know I'm pretty this website is really good at like updating like brand new stuff. So
I love
They're
that.
very yeah,
I wish they had a
it's
true crime one.
I know, that's what I was thinking. I bet there is one. I don't know.
I've
Okay.
kind of
Or
looked into stuff like that.
you guys could just, sit in your stories, so just
Yeah, what
saying.
the heck? So
What
angry at
the
all of
our
our listeners.
wwtnpodcast@gmail.com, or, you can DM us anywhere because, we don't care.
Hold on. I have to make a shout out. Not a shout out, but a verbal complaint. If you're going to tell me a story, a true crime story, do not verbally tell it to me because when you tell it to me, I forget about it. Okay?
And then
You know
we
who you
cannot put it
are.
in your words. We don't wanna make it like fabricate it or like put something wrong in it or include the wrong detail or
Yeah.
something and make you like mad at us. We want you to type it out and send it to us. Please.
Yeah.
There's so many different
I'm
kind of crimes. There's so many different paranormal stuff. You've experienced one, I promise.
somebody's experienced something or there's something going on in your town that you're like, "Whoa, this is crazy."
Yeah.
And
Or
you
you may
like
have
send us
really
the
great
article and it's like, "Cool, thanks for the article except for
oh my
I want
god,
it in your
yes.
own words."
Yeah. Like, "Oh god, this happened to me. I was there." Like, "Cool. How did you feel? What were you doing
Yeah.
there?"
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, go ahead, Brie.
Not sorry. Okay. So, a bit of background. I live in an old Victorian house, circa 1875. I guess that's a type of, yeah. Obviously, being over a century old, a good many have lived and died here. I would not go
Okay.
as far as to say it's haunted, but we do seem to get quite a few otherworldly visitors, random spirits passing through, the occasional relative stopping by to say hi. But far and away are what I call the WTH files. Those happenings that leave you scratching your head and feeling very perplexed as to why and how of it. We seem to get those quite often, but in my apartment and the downstairs apartment, and occasionally the basement. WTH files, though very strange and sometimes unnerving, generally are not story length, but I've taken to compiling them because, simply put, someone else might have explanation for it, or if they've had a similar experience, will know it's not just them. Not really a WTH file, but an actual sighting. I was having a lie down, one of my guilty pleasures, not sleeping, just allowing myself to drift within my own thoughts, when the tingling as if I'd walked through a spider web started and the most intense feeling of being stared at engulfed me. My eyes snapped open and squatted by my bed so that his face was even with mine was a man. My guess is he was 25 or so years old. He wore a blue fisherman's weave sweater and one of those newsboys' caps. He was Caucasian with a ruddy complexion and blondish hair. I don't remember the color of his eyes except they were kind and they looked a bit confused at seeing me. In a very British accent, he asked me, "May I help you, mum?" And just
Mom?
like that, he was gone. Except for being initially startled by him, I didn't feel threatened or anything, but I had wondered if maybe on another plane of existence he was confused at finding me in his bed. I mean, could you imagine? There you are, say stowing stuff under your bed, and as you start to get up, there's someone unknown in your bed. Not sure if I would have been as polite as he was. Now,
Did
for
he
some
say
W
mom?
mum, MUM. Can I help you,
So
mum?
he would know
So
who she is
I think also they say instead of ma'am, they say mum, right? They do in Bluey, I think.
instead instead of mom.
No, they say mum instead of mom. Yeah, you're right. Well, yeah, well maybe he was like on another plane and
Mom,
not
what the heck are you doing
realizing.
in my bed? That's
Yeah,
freaky.
come
Sorry.
on. You're good. Now, for some more WTH moments. In the kitchen, I have the usual double basin kitchen sink, and one day I found half of a tiny dress shirt button sitting on the dividing space. It's the sort of one would call a collar button, but only half. I don't own any dress shirts with buttons like that, and I certainly wouldn't have left it on the sink. Perhaps a week later, I was smelling something funky in the kitchen, a kind of sweet smell. I finally
Okay.
tracked it to the cabinet above the stove. I pulled over my step stool and climbed up. As I can barely reach the lower shelf, given that I don't really keep anything in the cabinets but often used spices and the low on the lowest shelves. On the second shelf, right in the middle, was a puddle of what I can only describe as a black goo. It was
Ew.
sticky and reminded me of thick molasses in texture. Only I haven't had molasses in years. Important. It was the only thing on that shelf, and the shelf above that was empty. I didn't see any signs of drippage, like from the ceiling or the cabinet walls, so not a leak or mold or some kind. Except for this black goo, the unit was clean.
Gross.
Absolutely no idea. In the living room, the appearance of a hollow yellow plastic ball for cats, about ping pong ball size, just showed up one day. The fact that it moves around
What?
from room to room, I'm blaming on my cat. And before any of you think, well, there you go, cat brought it in, Curb is a strictly indoor cat. He's old and has no interest in even going downstairs to sit on the porch with me. Also, a flowery scent like jasmine that lasts only a moment or two. Also, the smell of cherry pipe tobacco. This one lasts longer, sometimes 5 minutes or a bit more, others just like a whiff or two. And the
Wow.
rearranging of my books. I have a stack of 18 or so books whose covers I designed for various authors, and I keep waffling them between displaying them and just shoveling them. In the meantime, they just sit in the stack on the end table. Every now and then, the book on top changes. Interestingly enough, books on shelves seem to be left alone. I figure as
Huh.
long as I'm not feeling threatened, the random visits and oddness is okay. Just reminders that there's more to life than this life. It sounds like a
Oh, that's
poltergeist,
so
especially
weird.
with like the goo,
Yeah.
like lots
But
of energy,
aren't
lots of things going on.
poltergeists normally sinister?
Mm-mm. No,
Oh,
not all the time. I mean, I've done stories where they weren't like malicious or anything. They were just
okay.
kind of there, and they joke, they like move things around. They're just really active.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That was I
That
really
was a
like that
good one.
website. Yeah.
I like that one.
Change, buddy.
I'm going to tell you my neighborhood story. It looks like someone ripped off a piece of printer paper and wrote on it.
Okay.
It says, "Hey neighbor," with a face. And then on the back side, it says, "Hey, just wanted to let you know that last night you were outside yelling at your Jeep in your underwear," with a face. By the way, if you didn't know it, you were outside last night.
Other people can
There's
see
no
you.
contents of why or what.
Did it
That's
bother
it.
you? Are you mad? Are you just letting me know?
I, maybe you were drunk or maybe
Do you want to
you were
see more of it?
sleepwalking, but just so you know, you were outside. Oof, that's embarrassing for you.
That
Oh
was
my
good.
goodness.
We did
So
it, buddy.
we did it. I'm gonna go eat. I am starving.
You go eat.
We're gonna get sending hometown horror stories.
Yeah, and your cat's meows. Because I
Yeah.
don't have any to give this week. So send in your cat's
Oh,
meows to go in the outgoing message. It's just a recording, audio, video, whatever. Send it in. And yep. And it's just your cat meowing. Whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect. And let me know their name and I'll give them a shout out.
have you checked on the neighbors?
What's with the neighbors?
Bree and Amy
Being Amy out.
out. Psh.
Psh.
Say hi to your cats for us.
That was me. Don't get dead. That was Brie. That was
Bye,
me.
buddy. I love you.
Amy's a penis eater. Thank you. Love you.
No, I'm not.